Hello and welcome. This is Radull Live, and yes, today we talk volleyball. Before I start, let me give a shout out to people who've already locked in and waiting to hear my guest speak. Eugene Wangamati says locked. Isaac Kiberotich watching. Princess Nelly, president from Afghanistan. No, she's in Qatar. Christopher Mutotso Shivutse, watching from Ejinja Kona, Kakamega. No, he's in Qatar. Boniface Ambulwa, watching. And Jane Washu, she's managed to log in. She says, I'm watching Radull. Thanks for the link. Of course, Jane Washu is one of our national team players. Allow me to introduce a man I highly respect, because I highly respect his ladies and I highly respect his sport. Head coach of Kenya Volleyball women's team, Paul Bitok. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
First of all, you kept time. I think you've been the earliest of all my guests. And for me, that says something about a human being. I always tell people time is the easiest thing to get right.
Yeah, especially as a coach, if you don't keep time, then you will fail at the end of any competition that you are ending for.
Because it's about discipline. Sport is so much about discipline.
And time can tell all the discipline about your team.
Okay, let me send a few more shout outs and then we get into the volleyball discussion. Let me see, Raima Jaka is present. Princess Nelly, Carol, wacha kuchoma. Where? I know where you all are. Mercy Moim, yes, that's our national team captain of Malkia Strikers. Princess Nelly, the background sound ni kama Afro Cinema. Director, why is there an issue with the sound? Can we correct that? Xavier Gitao Masharia, locked from Stratford End, in Thika. And Isaac Kiberotich says, watching. I know my guests, I know my followers, and I know where they are from, and they're trying to lie to me. And Florence Radull is also tuned in. That is my sister who's also watching. Bitok, tell me about your volleyball career, how you got into volleyball before we get into coaching in Rwanda, coaching the national team, and plans for Olympics. Tell me about your personal volleyball career.
Myself, I come from a place called Simat in Uasin Gishu County. It is known in all sports, especially volleyball and athletics. And I can mention a few. We have Aspel Kebrob, late Bet, and also my brother who is a national coach for the marathon, David Letting. And Simat was one of the teams which were the champion in primary schools competitions. And being from this place, I had to start playing for the primary school in Simat. Unfortunately, I transferred to one of the primary school outside Simat, but I pushed myself back again to Simat because of volleyball. So I went to Kapsabet Boys, where I was introduced now as basketball, handball, and volleyball. But I ended up being a volleyball player. So after finishing high school, I joined Posta and Telecommunication, where I participated African Club Championship with Posta 2 years before moving to KCB. And during this time, I managed to get a professional club in Tunisia. I was in Radull Sportif du Sahel in Tunisia for 4 years. And then in 2000, I moved to Europe, where I played for Croatia, Zagreb club for 3 years before coming back.
Croatia is a powerhouse, it's a volleyball powerhouse.
Yeah, it was an opportunity for myself being the first professional player in Kenya to play in Europe. And up to now, we have some now who are playing in Qatar, Turkey, and I feel proud of being the first professional player and also a first professional coach where I end up my career as a professional coach in Rwanda.
How was the transition from playing to coaching?
Yeah, it was not easy because I remember KCB after retiring or after stopping playing, KCB club asked me to come and coach them. They were preparing for the African Club Championship, and I didn't have that confidence. So there was a Japanese assistant coach, Oba. She's working now with the Embassy of Japan, and I told her, please be the head coach and I will be your assistant. And she refused but I end up being the head coach. And the first year, I finished third in Africa with KCB, and the following year, in 2006, I became the African champion with KCB team. And this is the time Mr. Kioni couldn't believe that I could win with school students, and one of them, now the captain of the national team, Massimo Imshi, was in Cheptil Secondary School, but I went with her to Tunis, to Mauritius, and we won the African Club Championship. And Kioni said, no, you have the talent, you must be in the national team. So I was appointed to be assistant coach for David Lungao from 2006 up to 2008 before moving to Rwanda.
And what made you choose to coach women and not men? Because in Kenya, our women volleyballers shine, but we rarely hear about the men's team.
Yeah, first I went to Hungary. I studied sports science, and I did a lot about psychology, and I saw that I can use this when I go back home to coach women, because women, you have to use different tactics than the men. And most of the players that were in the national team when I was a player myself were good friends of mine, like Dorcas Ndasaba, Margaret Ndakala, and I was admiring to coach them. And though I was young, I ended up coaching them in the national team. And I learned a lot from them. And from that time, I picked something, and it has helped me up to now handling women.
When you were mentioning where you come from and your early childhood, and some of the superstars you mentioned, they all became runners. How did you decide, Pana, I'm not running, it's volleyball? Because with your height, I'm sure you can challenge your fellow athletes.
Yeah, I tried, but my brother was too harsh to me. He wanted me to concentrate on academic, and he forced me not to be in sports.
Really?
Yeah, but I keep going back to Simat. You know, I was in another school with him, and he didn't like me to go in sports, and now he regrets, and he told me that you were determined, and I think he apologized to me.
He's seen where you have reached.
Yeah, sure.
And it's very, very commendable. Yeah. Let's talk about Malkia Strikers, because here is a team where I think recently we are beginning to get the support that I wish you had for the last 5 years. But there was a time, Malkia Strikers preparing for a continental tournament. You were not the coach at the time, but that Kasarani, power goes off. Nobody cares. You know, they had to come to Radull to complain on Twitter to get electricity in Kasarani. The team is being charged. I was surprised that national teams are charged to use Kasarani, and you're training for an international event to represent Kenya. You know, there's so many challenges Malkia Strikers have gone through.
Yeah, I think there is something wrong up to now between the Ministry of Sports and federations. Being Rwanda for 10 years, if I compare the two ministries, for example, me myself, I was under Ministry of Sports, and I was being paid for that 10 years. And the facilities that they have in Rwanda, any kind of sports facility which is there, anytime national team in training, they're not, it is free for them. Everything is free, whether it's for runners to go and use the Amaoro Stadium, it is free. When you come back to our country, it's so unfortunate that you have to pay more than 25,000 for volleyball court to use, and this is a government facility. Asking national team to pay, it's really a big challenge. And until today, we are not even able to use for our local competition. And we are facing a lot of problem, Radull, let me tell you. When you have our training outside, and then you go and play inside or indoor, it's really a bad thing. It's they don't believe even that Kenya is still playing outside volleyball. Because we are in the top 11 countries, like now we have qualified for the Olympics, and our competition is being played outside. It is something which they left it 30 years in Europe or Asia.
In high school, we played in outdoor courts. So professional volleyball should only be played indoors.
It must be indoor, and I thank President he accepted to support me this year to have all the National League for women being played indoor. We lost the African Club Championship about 10 years now because of this problem. Their National League is being played in Eldoret, Kisumu, Nairobi, outdoor. When they go to play in Egypt, for example, they cannot match teams from Egypt and Tunisia. And you will see the results for this year. African Club Championship is coming up, and they will realize what's the difference between the other years and this year. I know some.
This year you're playing indoors.
We are playing indoor, and I'm very happy. I was yesterday in Kenya Pipeline. The officials were assessing one of the indoor facilities that they have that they didn't know that it can be used by volleyball. So you can see the thinking now, and I believe also my employer KCB, they are thinking of building it one of the indoor arena. And if we go this way in this format, then we'll have many arenas. I was in charge of organization of volleyball in Rwanda, and I forced all the league to be played in Amahoro Stadium because it is free, it's a government facility. And I gave condition that unless you have this indoor, you'll be allowed to host the National League. And because of this, the district, their teams were coming to Kigali to play indoor. And the MCA could not accept this. So they had to build their own gym. So in Rwanda now you find that more than 4 districts, they have their own gym because of the system that they are using. So in Kenya, I hope that they will understand in future, because we have one in Nairobi and we have another one in Mombasa. And we can use this. We need to separate the National League and the tournaments. We can play a tournament outside, but the National League, because we are going for African Club Championship where we'll play indoor, we must concentrate on this. And also now, being this year Olympic competition is coming, our ladies should not even being outside. We need to
train inside.
At all the time, we must be indoor.
So there's a lot, I'm feeling a bit jealous of Rwanda, because Rwanda seems to get their act together much faster than us. You've seen what they've done with volleyball, with basketball, and that big complex they built. I mean, you wouldn't think that Kenya would be trying to follow what Rwanda is doing. We should be part of the leaders in being such a powerhouse in sport on this continent.
Yeah, I really respect Rwanda, because President himself used to come to watch our matches, and
Kagame would come to watch volleyball.
Yes, and even ask me and discuss with me what is needed, and I like about this. And you see the Ministry of Sports in Kenya, we have in Kencom House, our minister being in the middle of town, and I like Rwanda, because if you are from the Ministry of Sports, you must be there. You must be in sports area. So you find the Minister of Rwanda is in Amahoro Stadium.
Yeah, so the national stadium houses the sports ministry.
And every day, when I used to go for my training, I'm meeting her, and she was coming to watch our training all the time. We are meeting. We know each other, but here, even to know the peers or so to meet is really a big problem, and we are facing a lot of challenges, especially with the ministry. We need to be close with them. We need to work together.
They need to understand what the national team is going through, and not through emails and letters, through seeing for themselves.
Yeah, and I want to tell you that every month in Rwanda, the cabinet meeting in Rwanda, each ministry must present what they have done that month and what they are planning for the next month. So it's a two-way. Even minister, for her to have results, she must support me for her to give the report for that month. And I think this is the way we should do in Kenya.
It's such an eye-opener. It's something so simple, but it's such an eye-opener.
Yeah.
How's the Ministry of Sports in the national complex? And then they are actually held accountable on what they have done that month. I'm not sure whether sports is even discussed in cabinet meetings. Maybe they're told, oh, by the way, we did well in basketball. Well done, let's tweet, finished.
Yeah, like now I have been in the national coach for Kenya since I came back in 2019. No report from myself, which I've gone to the Ministry of Sports. But in Rwanda, every month I was giving a report for what I have done and what I was planning to do. And you can imagine, not even federation alone, ministry always have to have your own report as a head coach of all the national team in Rwanda.
That's pretty amazing. Let me read some of these comments and we get back to our conversation. Felista Sang says, the great motivator. Bravo, coaches, and good luck. I'm assuming in
Thank you
Olympics,
so much.
yes. Hesbon Hansen Owila says, discipline in sports is key. Without discipline, talent amounts to nothing, which is so true. People underestimate, because without discipline, you're already late. You're not.
Yeah, you can't make it.
Yeah, you can't make it. Isaac just says, I'm watching from Kipkenyo in Eldoret.
That's nearby, nearby
That's
area.
home.
That's home, yeah.
Shags.
Sharks.
Xavier Gitau Masharia. Wait, the volleyball national team has to pay government to access government facilities. Halafu 2 billion ipote. Gitau, all national teams, even Harambee Stars using Kasarani has to pay. What do you mean?
Yeah,
and
true.
all and for maybe for national teams, but for training, really, there should be. It's a national. It's like saying the government needs to pay rent to government officers to use government facilities, which is very unfortunate. When you were talking about facilities, the indoor courts, you said it's only Mombasa and Nairobi.
Yeah.
Kisumu, our sides there are no indoor courts.
There's no indoor courts, and usually I have a tournament in Eldoret. It's called Amako International Tournament, and I have talked with His Excellence Mr. Mandako, and I told him that this tournament have grown big, and I'll bring some athletes from outside. And this time I was lucky; I had 2 teams from America. It was so embarrassing that we were playing outdoor, yet he promised me that we will build one in Eldoret. And you know, after they won one of the semi-finals, we were playing, and because it was evening, there was a sexual harassment during this time, and I was so embarrassed, and the team couldn't finish the tournament because they had to leave back home because of that situation. So you can imagine that our counties, they need to factor in the indoor facilities also for volleyball.
That's unfortunate and sad and scary.
Yeah, it was so scary, and it was, and one of the clubs were university, and their parents couldn't take it, and they took them back home.
That's unfortunate. Let's talk more about Malkia Strikers, the fact that we're going to Tokyo. They're still calling it Tokyo 2020, which is the Olympics later this year. We are hoping it's still going to happen. COVID needs to properly be contained. What are the preparation plans? Because in the past, I know what has ailed Malkia Strikers. It's preparation, international tournaments, international friendlies. How are we preparing this time?
Yeah, we are late 2 weeks. We were supposed to start training 2 weeks ago in Kasarani, though the facilities at Kasarani, because of COVID, they only accommodated Paralympics and athletics. So we are reporting on 22nd
Of April.
Not April, this month.
Oh.
Yeah, we will be at KU, but we'll be training at Kasarani. Unfortunately, we might be interfered again with the African Club Championship because the host country is yet to be confirmed, but the interest country is Tunisia. So they have given proposal to have the African Club Championship on 16th of next month. But we were in KU with the National Olympic Committee and the government officials, and we agreed that now we'll start from 22nd of this month, and we will not stop until the end of our training in Kenya. And also we have lined up also 2 training outside, and I believe that President Mr. Kioni will be giving press release this week according to the plans that we have, but we'll have 1 month training outside Kenya. And also we had given out our proposal to have training in Brazil and also in Turkey, and already it is an advanced stage, and you will get information before the end of this week, whereby you will be told our team is ready to go full sponsorship from outside and also with the National Olympic Committee.
So this time around in the Olympics, we're hoping to be more than just participants. What is our target?
Yeah, our target, you see, we never won a set outside Africa, especially Olympics. The last time we participated, we didn't win even one set. And I'm very happy that I participated in World Cup 2019.
Japan.
And, yeah, in Japan.
Yeah.
And really, we had good scores. We didn't get sets from those big countries, but we won against Cameroon. But we could reach 20. I remember we were leading 22-20 Japan's team. And the finishing was just a problem. And you see, we didn't have the international friendly matches that time. But if you can see our program now, we might have training more than 1 month outside Kenya. And also, they are organizing a certain tournament where Kenya will participate in Europe before leaving to Kurume City, where we'll have 3 weeks, because this one is confirmed. It is signed between, there's a partnership between Kurume City and Kenya national teams who will participate in Olympics. So you can see we'll have all the exposure, international friendly match. I think we'll be ready by the time we go to the match. And I promise you, we will not come back without winning one match or two.
This year I've also seen you've got sponsorship from, I think it's Sweepstakes. I see some of your players pushing the brand, Kina Massimoim. Which other sponsorship do you have? Because it's critical that the team gets some money to prepare.
Yeah, though I'm not allowed to mention now, we can reserve that one for now, but we have good sponsorship which is coming in before the Olympics. I think we are satisfied so far, though we didn't start, but we are starting very soon. And if we will be training more than 3 months, you see, it is good enough. And we are expecting also more than 4 international coaches, high performance coaches, coming to support us and to coach.
International coaches.
With me, yeah. And this full story about them, you'll get it from Mr. Kioni and the National Olympic Committee in the coming weeks.
Let me read a few comments, and then I want us to talk a bit about youth development. People here are just really shocked that the volleyball team is charged to train at Kasarani. That's normal. It's unfortunate, and it's not just volleyball. So, all national teams are charged. Victor Kogo says, watching live from Simat.
Simat is my home.
Ga.
That's my village. That's
your village.
That's my village.
He says, proud of you, neighbor. You have indeed made us a great player in Kenya volleyball. Your efforts mean a lot to our country, so you're highly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Xavier Gitau, let's just disband this country and everyone goes home. He's looking at that meme. Not that just drastic, no. Everybody just really shocked. Here's Abbas DJ. He says, I love watching volleyball a lot. It's always a vibe, especially when you have 2 top teams. I wish we'd have more of the game in our counties. And then he goes on to say, where was it? Because I know he's from Nyeri. He says, why not lobby for a facility in Nyeri? You have the network. Kindly go for it. Kujaribu ndio kuweza. Abbas, you people of Nyeri, lobby for your volleyball court.
Yeah.
But then volleyball court is just a big structure.
Yeah,
like a gym.
And simple.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a lot of things, material. It's simple and just have the roof.
Isaac Kibe, I have a challenge to the coach. Ask him to organize a local tournament in Simat and Kipkenyo. But you said you do have a tournament.
Yeah, I have a tournament there.
Before the show started, we were talking about youth development. And you were saying one of the issues in Kenya, especially when it comes to volleyball, is we have no youth systems. And that affects us technically. Just explain what you were telling me.
Yeah, Kenya, they have very good talent. And I thank Ministry of Education and also Association of School. They are really doing a good job. Without them, I don't know if Kenya Volleyball Federation can have players. We have schools like Kwantanse, Lukulu, Cheptil. They are doing good. But sometimes it's very, very difficult for them because they are not high-level coaches who can teach those players the right basic. You know, if you don't get the right basic or right movement when you are still young, sometimes it's really problem when you come to the senior level, especially in a professional level. I will give you an example of one of our player. We have Chumba. She's one of the best now. She scored 72, followed by Moim 58 in African qualifiers for the Olympics. There are some things which Chumba could have done better than what she's doing now if there was right training in the youth and junior. And I am asking the federation to go for this youth and junior. 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, there was competition in Nigeria for under 18 and under 19. There was also in Egypt about 3 weeks ago. Kenya were not there to participate, and it's very, very difficult for us to come and match them in future, because already they are participating in African competition, then they will go for the World Championship.
At a youth age.
At a youth age. And then if they have the right people, that means those players will reach a very high level. You see now we have less professional players. Because of this, we have to nurture this talent and have the right people to take them all those steps. And if Kenya can do that, we have the talent. We can be the top.
We don't participate in any age group tournaments at all?
At all. Kenya hosted 2 years ago, and I was embarrassed to see Rwanda qualifying and Kenya losing this. You see, apart from organizing, they had organized one of the under-20 category 2 years ago. But the problem, they were not prepared, you know. They just assembled the team and participated in the competition. I will give you an example of a Rwandan team where I started with the youth and junior in beach volleyball, and we won all categories up to the senior level. And the same team, we qualified for the Commonwealth with this. And now they are playing professional beach volleyball in Australia. There's the same players. So what I think that federation to do should invest more with the youth and junior. And given that already we are somewhere, Kenya are somewhere, it is good for us, it will take us another step. We are complaining now that why we are not winning, why we are losing to these big countries, because they are participating in all these categories. Otherwise, we will be winning in Africa, but we will not match world level.
Internationally, because we don't train our players from a young age. And it's something I see across the board. I see it in football, I see it in rugby. There are individuals who are coming up with academies now for underage groups, but it needs to be a national plan.
Yeah, national plan, especially for the federation.
We have 12-year-olds, 14, 16, 18, and then because right now we're relying on the Mercy Moims, the Jane Washus, the Triza Tukas, we're relying on them, but what happens when and they've been playing for a while. I'm not wishing they stop playing, but I'm sure their terms will soon come to an end, and then?
Yes, as you said, like now we have 4 years to have another qualifiers for the next Olympics. Which kind of players do we have? Which steps they have taken to reach there? We will miss another 16 years. Now, Kenya came back after 16 years because of this problem. So we should invest. Like now, we have a lot of money now coming in and all support for the Olympics after team qualified. But what about the preparation? What are we thinking about now? In 4 years, are we going to qualify? Which generation are we supposed to have?
Who's going to be in the next Olympics?
Washu.
And what are they doing now?
Washu, Moim, they will not be in the next Olympics. If we are serious, we should have a new generation taking over. Wanja, she played like 3 or 4 Olympics, not because she was the best. If we had a new generation coming up, we could have the best and also high-level athletes at that level.
But we still appreciate you, Janet.
Yes, I appreciate them. They really sacrifice a lot.
For this country,
for this country. For more than 20 years in the national team, this is an honor. And I'm proud that I was part of our journey to be one of the best.
Do we have any young players right now in the team?
Yes, I'm very happy that we have the young players coming up. If you could have watched last league last weekend, we played. We had KCB playing Kenya Pipeline, and I was surprised myself to see one of the best player that we will have in the near future. And I'm sure that if she will be like this, one of the players might miss position in the Olympics. She's called Pamela. She played very well, and she's very young. In KCB also we have a setter. She's 18 years old, and she's making the first 6 of KCB team. So we have a new generation, and I hope they will work hard to be in this team, and if not, then I'm sure that this is a good generation for future.
I've seen KCB has really invested in club volleyball, and from getting the best players to having the likes of you and some of these other big coaches, and you're finally challenging, because club volleyball for women has been pipeline prisons, and now, if I'm not wrong, KCB is topping the league.
Yeah, I think you are wrong. I told you, I told you earlier
Okay, correct
that I became African champion with KCB in 2006. It's only that 2008 I left for Rwanda.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
recently.
But now I'm back to KCB, and I believe what they have invested. They understood me. I gave my proposal how we have to turn the club to be a professional, and they allowed me to bring the best. And now I have Chumba on board. I brought in Edith Wisa, Masi Moim, and also 2 foreign players who are in the team now. And I believe that I'm changing the club to be a professional. I want to use KCB as a professional club. And I hope that they will win African Club Championship this year, so that others also can change their clubs to be professional team.
Seasons and Pipeline better wake up.
Yeah, and I'm very happy. I was with the coach for Kenya Pipeline yesterday. They are really working hard. They are asking me what we did correctly in KCB, that you can sign the professional players, though they are local. And if you compare now KCB with the Ali Club or Carthage in Tunisia, they are in the same level. Even their salary now, we have improved to that level. And it's the first time that volleyball team are being paid this much. And I hope other companies also will come up, and we have the volleyball in general as a professional. The only thing which is remaining now is Kenya Volleyball Federation also to see how they can manage a national league as a professional. So that when we have a professional club and we don't have a professional league, so this one must match together. And I hope in the near future to be part of the federation, so that I can implement what I think is good for us.
I was going to ask you that. Your ambitions, your personal ambitions?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier before, 1 year ago, about my ambition, and I faced some challenges from federation members, and even some were about to remove me because of this. So it's better I reserve for now, and I will come. I will come after Olympics.
You talk for chairman. I'm giving leakage. But, you were telling me as well, and you said it's okay that I mentioned this, that you're coaching the national team, but you don't have a contract.
Yeah, it's very funny, and I'm embarrassed after coming from Rwanda. Rwanda managed to pay me more than 10 years, good salary, and people don't know that this salary is not only for you. You use the same salary to motivate your team, to take care of some of the issues which are in the team. And I really thank Rwanda, because they respected my contract. When I came to Kenya, they asked me to help them because they were facing some challenges with the previous coach, who was seconded from FIVB. That was Ramdu, after losing the African Cup of Nations. And I think it was just an agreement to go for the All-African Games. And that situation, by that time, the team was not doing good. So when we participated in All-African Games, I tried to ask about a contract before participating in these All-African Games. And I was lucky to meet the peers and to discuss about this. That was Kaberia, and he accepted to look at my contract based on the results that we had that time. And we won the All-African Games. When we came back, I had pressure now if I was to continue or to stay. And Mr. Kioni is the one who really helped me to be in the national team in 2006. And he told me, please, we need to qualify for the Olympics. I know there is no contract, but we will still follow and we will make sure that you get a contract with the Ministry of Sports. And after qualifying for the Olympic qualifiers, it has become as usual that you continue helping us, we will pay you allowances. So I hope that even if I don't get myself, but the Ministry of Sports should consider having national coaches being paid salary. You see now, I face some challenges myself when I'm following my players in different teams. Now, it forced myself to go and sign contract with KCB so that at least I have salary for every month. But if I was national coach, then I could be training also with Kenya Prisons and Kenya Pipeline. There is some documents which were needed with the new coaches who are coming to help us. So I was testing some players yesterday in different clubs. So they don't feel comfortable because you are part of KCB. So in future, when you are appointed as a head coach of a national team, you should be neutral. You should be only national coach, not with club.
Not a club as well.
Yeah.
But that's something, I know, because that's an issue that we even faced in football when I think it was Kimanzi coaching Mathare United.
Yeah.
At a time, he was also a national team coach. I think Zico did the same when he was Gor Mahia coach.
Yeah.
And they always feel there's conflict of interest,
Yeah.
and you favor your players.
I'm telling you, it's very difficult, Caro. Even to choose the 12 players in the national team, sometimes you have to sacrifice maybe one of the member from your club because you see, people will think that you are favoring certain player because they're from your club. Yeah.
Let me read some comments here. Godwin Aseka is saying, thanks Radull for empowering sports in this country. You're a strong sports personality. He wants a t-shirt. Hey, Kenyans. Barasa Noro. Actually, talking about t-shirts, you're telling me, yesterday I called around, I wanted to wear a volleyball t-shirt today, and I was told there are none.
And I promise we will not have this problem again. We will have it.
You will have the jersey. So, those are domains we're not going into now. Barasa Norobade says, despite whatever we are experiencing in volleyball at the moment, we shall scale the heights. Thank you to Paul Bitok. Fernand Sauver says, thanks Coach Paul Bitok for being our ambassador for good practices in Rwanda sports. Wish you success in the coming Olympics. This clearly is a Rwandese person because he has a French name. But I think that's what I'm getting in this interview. How many good practices you're trying to introduce in Kenya that should already be the norm, that were the norm for you in Rwanda, but they're good practices we have to introduce here. Masinde Elkana Radull, when you were in Samitsi for the Karamoja Super Cup, you flagged off the ladies' final, volleyball final. I was wondering when you will bring volleyball on board. Let it be more frequent. Yes, this past year, the Karamoja Super Cup, which was football only the first year, had volleyball this year. It's a tournament in every December in Samitsi in Kakamega. And I have brought volleyball before. By the way, I've interviewed
Please invite me there. I will come and join you.
You'll come and join us. Okay, sawa. And Masimoim has been on this show, but it was almost a year ago. She was one of our first guests. What I do want to ask though is, before we talk about men's volleyball, just a little bit. Washu, I saw a story where we chat a bit on WhatsApp, but she's stranded in Seychelles. And she's worried about that. I think the airports are closed because of COVID, and she's worried she might lose her position in the Olympic team. It's such a tricky situation when that happens. How else has COVID actually affected us, and what can we do about Washu? Is there anything we can do to help?
Yeah, I think I'm in contact with Washu. I always give her the training program, and she's doing very well. I think it is not right that she's stranded. No, we have not invited her. We were waiting to have the training come so that we can send her the ticket to come to Kenya. I think there's no alarm in this
There's no
case.
cause for alarm.
She will come.
But COVID has affected you very badly.
The whole of last year, the ladies really gained a lot of weight. And beginning of this year, when we were having our training, we had to do a lot of fitness. And until now, we didn't reach our level that we had last year before the qualifiers. But we have time. I believe that we will do something.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
Another comment here. Let me see. Okay, some people are having internet problems. I hope that's not us, because I want to make sure this show goes out nicely. We'll talk about men's volleyball. What do you think? I know you're not actively involved in coaching men's volleyball, but what do you think is ailing us when it comes to our men's volleyball? Or is the competition on the continent too high?
I was very lucky to be both men and women coach in Rwanda. And I want to tell you that it is youth and junior which can take us wherever you want in this world. I started with Rwanda with youth and junior. I qualified 2 teams, under 21, under 19, for the World Championship.
Men or women?
Men. It was the first time to have black qualified teams, not from North African country, to participate in the world level with the Rwandan team. That was in 2010. 2013, the same guys, I transferred the same players into the senior level. I only have 2 or 3 senior players who were there by then. And Rwanda became 4th in Africa, using the same players which undergone under 18 and under 21. And I believe in Kenya, it's the same thing. We have to go to a youth and junior, and we will reach there. There is no shortcut about this. Kenya were winning last qualifiers here in Nairobi, Egypt. They played 3-2. Yeah. So that means Kenya have good talent. It's only that we are not in the right track, using the right ways. Having the same team now will not give us that results. We need to go down a bit, and then we build it from there.
On the continent, it's Egypt and Cameroon. That's our biggest competition.
Yeah, the best now is Tunisia, Egypt, Cameroon. And I want to tell you that I won two times in the World Championship qualifiers and in the Cup of Nations against Cameroon with the Rwandan team. The only problem that I had was to win against Egypt and Algeria and Tunisia. But I could beat Cameroon. But Cameroon could beat the other 2 countries. They were top 3. Yeah. So I believe that there is something in Kenya if we can go to youth and junior.
If we can go to youth, junior, pay our players nicely, because...
Yeah, and we will come back again to which kind of a league are we playing? Are we playing outdoor? Are we playing indoor? All this is very, very important. And why we don't have sponsors in our national league? It is our way of the system that we have. How can you sponsor a national league when you are going to play in Nyeri, in Kamukunji, you go to Eldoret, 64 Stadium? No. Few days ago, I talked with Madcott, and they managed to show one of the league matches that we had here. And really, many sponsors are willing now to come in. But if we don't show them the real system and the best facility that we can advertise their product, then we will not have it.
You have to package
You have to package everything. Yeah. And we must use, and I'm very happy that now we can use Nyayo Stadium. It is cheap, it is small for our public to come in there. They need to pay. Now volleyball is just free. But now, though we have COVID now, but the matches that we played 2 weeks ago, it was full. So
yeah, because volleyball matches get full, so that should be easy to attract sponsors.
To attract sponsor.
to come and support the game and in turn get the players paid.
Yeah, and I hope Radull Live will be showing these matches in the coming years.
I need a lot of equipment that right now I cannot afford. But absolutely, I mean, volleyball deserves to be live on TV. I think we've done well with the minimum resources. I dream of what would happen if we just got the right resources, the right backing, the right organization behind it. Actually, we're actually winding up. So I just want to ask you, what would be an ideal scenario for you for volleyball in this country? Club volleyball, youth volleyball, national team volleyball. Just a parting shot from you before we wind up.
Yeah, I believe that if we come on board, all of us, having now schools, universities, club teams, if we can have one national league for all those categories. You see, now we don't have even Division 2. We force everyone to be in Division 1. So they are not matching
there's only
the
one
best.
league.
Yeah, we have only one league. And we need to separate. We need to have university league also. So we have a lot to do for us to reach a high level. But what I wanted to say now is that about our Malkia strikers, they have been doing very good. We have selected 25 players. For those who have been selected, it is going to be very, very tough. Training outside more than 1 month, it will be very, very tough. And I hope that they are prepared mentally, because being away from the family, it will be not easy for all. And for the young players, I want to urge them, and I am telling them that I'm giving them their chance also. It is an equal chance, whether you were there before or you are new. It depends on what you will work for it. And we have more than 4 foreign coaches coming in with different culture, with different attitude, and it is a chance also for them to learn from other coaches, also not only from us. So I'm just wishing them that they will cope up with the pressure that the foreign coaches maybe they might bring to the team. But we are ready, and I'm ready myself to cooperate with them, and also to see that in future become one of the leaders in Kenya Volleyball Federation, and to put in what I think is best for us in Kenya.
And finally, there was this issue this week about this football player who was breastfeeding her baby at halftime, and of course it raised issues about women in sport and whether our facilities support women in sport who are young mothers who need we've had players who have young babies and come back to play. And what are your thoughts on what challenges women go through as women, and what we can do to make it bearable for them to do both, to be a mother and to play sport?
Yeah, and this one has happened also in volleyball.
Yes.
You find that there are some who would like to train, same time having their babies within us, but we don't have the best facilities for them. And I will request that we have to consider this, because we have these challenges in women. Like now we have one of the players in KCB, she has to go home to breastfeed after the first section of training. And if we had the facilities to have maybe the assistant being there with the child, a certain room for her to go, to change and breastfeed and come back for the training. And like now, as I told you, that we are going to come for a very long time, more than 3 months, and some have young children, and we need also to see how we can accommodate both, not only to accommodate the players, but we need also to accommodate their children and maybe the assistant in income. So it's a big challenge.
I hope I've spoken to several women's representatives this week, parliamentary representatives. I hope they're going to take this up. And do something for women in sports, for women in all industries, because even in media houses there aren't necessarily facilities, and any organization. So it's something I hope people will be talking about. But Bitok, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have hope. Most times I talk to sports people, I don't have hope. Now I have hope. I believe Malkia Strikers are in good hands. I believe you have a good preparation program for the Olympics.
But you didn't mention that one time when I was in Rwanda, I saw you having a certain account whereby you are raising money for Malkia Strikers. So you have been part of us. Our success is with you. So we thank you also as Malkia Strikers.
That was very embarrassing because I was approached by Makoha, I think he was the vice chairman at the time, and he said, we have a year to Japan, we're going for World Championships, and this time we want to be ready. We don't want to just be participants at the World Championships, we want to have an impact. And our biggest issue has been preparation. So they asked us to, as just a study, to come in and help them begin a campaign to try and get money so that they can go for some international friendlies, maybe host some teams as well. And we got our camera people, everybody donated their time, they shot videos.
Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, Kenyans who are fans came back and said it's not us, it's the government who should be pushing them. So as fans, we also have a very bad attitude towards what we can do for our sports people, you know. We can't shout Serekali's idea until forever.
We can't give all,
Sometimes ask, what can I do from my position? So we've had a long journey with Malkia Strikers. I respect them so much, what they've achieved with the little they have, but it's good now that they're getting more support, and thank you for your role in that.
Yeah, and we will come here, all of us. We want to be in this show.
In fact, we'll come through and train with you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You'll see me on the court embarrassing myself.
Please make sure that you come to Kasarani when we start our training.
I'll come. I will come. I'm not sure I'll look as good in those shots. I'll try. I'm on a fitness program, but I will come. Thank you so much, Bitok. And thank you guys for watching. I know today there were a few internet issues. We'll still upload a clean version on the page. But thanks for watching, and join us again next Saturday to discuss more sport in Kenya, and wish Bitok and his team the best for the Olympics. Asante.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.